This week we're working on one of my personal bikes. This is a 1977 Puch Maxi with a 70cc kit on it. If you guys are following me on Instagram and all my other social medias, you guys know this bike as the Christmas Maxi, and that is for very obvious reasons. For a little over 2 years now, I've been running a 3D printed intake, and I was actually sent a 19mm intake along with it, and it's finally time to install it. Along with that, I'm also going to be doing a bottom end rebuild and adding a couple other parts like this clone Delorto 19mm carburetor. Here's an example of a 15mm carburetor by the same company next to the 19. I'm also going to be fixing a couple of really bad fixes that I had done over the years. So to start, we're obviously going to go ahead and take off anything that's going to be in the way of taking this motor off, and then from there we're gonna just take the motor off. It's pretty simple, and I thought I had everything disconnected, but I forgot that this is actually running a temperature gauge that's connected to the spark plug. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lean this here for now. I was an absolute fool when I took this thing off, and I left all the oil in it. So enjoy watching me struggle to hold this motor up one-armed while I empty the oil. After dumping out all that oil, it doesn't seem like there's any metal shavings, nothing that I gotta be too concerned about. It's just pretty dirty and ready for an oil change. Now, I'm pretty sure you're just as skeptical as I am with a 3D printed intake, so I wanted to take a really close look at this thing now that it's been officially 2 years, and I was shocked to find out that the rubber gasket that comes with it was in near perfect shape, and I would feel comfortable using that again, but I'm not going to because I have one that's comes with the 19mm. And no, that's not a crack, that's bubbling from the printing process. And just a little size comparison for the 15 to the 19, the 15 can straight up fit in the 19. This blue one was actually a Mark 1, and I'm comparing it to the new model, and you can see that the new model is a lot more sturdy. Enough fun, however. It's time to take off anything that's going to restrict us cracking the case open. We're going to go ahead and take our first set of puller tools and take this flywheel off. Obviously, just inspect how everything looks in there. Anybody that doesn't know, there's a little Woodruff key in there, and you want to make sure that you don't lose that. That is very valuable. I always like to just mark where my current stator is on the case, just because it's a very quick disassemble and then reassemble. And I've actually been running the stock points on this bike, and I've never really had an issue, but at some point I do definitely want to replace them and install a CDI and just see what kind of difference we can get. So it's really been about 2 years since this bike's really ever gotten any kind of maintenance besides just an oil change, so I'm really interested to see how this cylinder looks. And on first glance, it looks really good. I mean, maybe a little bit of scuffing, but I mean, I've been riding this thing hard. I have not been taking it easy. And just taking off the piston and inspecting that closely, it definitely has a little bit of blow by, and maybe it's time for some new rings. I'm really not sure what that little speck is there, but I don't know. If you guys have any idea, just let me know in the comments. And without shock, there's some carbon buildup on the top of the piston. I'm not really surprised. Now it's time to crack into this case and see how our internals look and see what these bearings look like. As usual, a little bit of gentle persuasion and this thing's cracked open. Honestly, probably one of the easiest ones I've ever had to crack open. At first glance, I am super happy with how this looks. Sure, a little bit of oil, that's fine. I mean, it's a two-stroke. These things are dirty. I'm just really happy that everything seems to be really lubricated and there's no major issues or concerns, just dirty oil. So as you guys know, my OCD is not going to allow a couple of clean cases on some of my really nice bikes. while we're cleaning the bikes, I'm gonna go ahead and just start baking these bearings because we really want them to heat up while our crankshaft is cold so that these bearings will just slip right on. I'm just pretty much gonna put these at 350 degrees, and you can really put them in however long you want, but I'm putting them in for 30 minutes. And if you're not periodically cleaning your workspace as you go, you're a silly, silly fool. Let's go ahead and start inspecting our bearings here. So honestly, it's really hard to tell. You can't hear anything. These bearings are perfectly fine. However, I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and replace them. However, this inner bearing right by the clutch does seem to be a little loose, so I'm glad I'm not fully wasting my time. Now, I was fortunate enough to find original Puch dealership tools, and there are remakes out there, but I highly, highly suggest you guys go and try to find something similar to this because it just makes pulling bearings ridiculously easy. And I was really trying to find a nice angle that I could show you guys how easy these bearings slipped off, but I was not able to hold my hand steady, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. And again, as you can hear, there's literally no noise. These bearings don't need to be replaced. I'm just gonna keep them around for just maybe spare bearings if somebody ever needs them. Our second puller tool to pull our clutch off here, and we can start disassembling the bell. And I cannot believe I am running stock springs in this thing. We are absolutely going to make a video with adding some blue springs at the very least. 30 minutes seemed to be the sweet spot for these. They literally just dropped into place so easily with no force. I think this one here was the most cooled down one, and it just took a little bit of tamping down. It was so easy. Absolutely heat your bearings, guys. If you are not, you are also a fool. It's time to start rebuilding this motor and just putting everything back to the way we found it. Now, I know what we've done was a lot, but you can't forget these little steps like cleaning each side of the case. It's super important that you guys make these cases flush. If not, you do run the risk of having an air leak, and that will make you redo this entire process all over again. Make sure the surfaces of your cases are clean. You want to make sure that you don't have any oil or debris on that case while you're installing your gasket maker, and that you're not putting it on too thick. You can't really put it on too thick, but it does ooze out the sides and just kind of looks tacky and not as professional. Now, with all of our prep work finally finished, it's time to install the internals. Just checking to make sure everything is freely spinning and nothing's going to bind these guys up. When installing the second half of the case, just be slow because there are a few things that you have to line up carefully, and just take your time with this process. As you guys know, I like to do a specific process of tightening down. I like to get the diagonal middles, and then I'll hit the back two, and then I'll do two in the front, finishing off with all of the rest of the bolts, torquing them down to spec. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and just let this bottom half cure for a little bit because it's really cold outside. I was hoping to take a ride this afternoon on the bike. However, we just got some snow, and I really don't want to ride it in the snow, and that's really no time to test ride it. So unfortunately for now, it's gonna have to wait.